Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. Boy, do I have a video for you guys today. I put together a very fun tier list for you guys, and this is basically, I get asked all the time on a bunch of different Pokemon cards that people want to see if it's investable or not. And I don't really deal in Pokemon card investing. I'm definitely a long-term collector. I have a lot of really cool stuff inside of my collection that has gone up in value, but I never collected them thinking that they were investable or something of that nature. But I get asked about a lot of different stuff where people say, hey Jake, do you think this is investor friendly? Do you think I should invest in this or not? Those questions get on my radar a lot, and I've gathered a lot of different data points on what people typically ask me. And here I have the Investorbros tier, which is a bunch of different items or Pokemon cards and products and sets that I typically get asked whether it's investable or not. And I think this video is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to take this as seriously as possible while still understanding that, hey, we're literally talking about Pokemon cards and pieces of cardboard here. So I think this will be a lot of fun. I think it's going to rustle some jimmies. I think people are going to be triggered by this video, but I think it'll be all in good fun. So let's rank some Pokemon card investments. This will be the undisputed tier list for every single future Pokemon card investors out there. So I think this will be a lot of fun. Before we get started though, I'd like to thank Buyee for sponsoring today's video. If you've ever dreamed of snagging rare Japanese exclusive cards straight from the source, then listen up. Buyee is a proxy service that connects you directly to top Japanese marketplaces like Yahoo Auction Japan, Mercari, Rakuten. It's like having a friend who lives in Japan that you can use their home address to ship you stuff internationally. It's super cool. You browse, bid, and buy, and Buyee handles the rest, from communication to international shipping. It's super beginner friendly. No need to read Japanese, no need for sketchy translation. It's super smooth, streamlined, and it's an awesome service. Here's the kicker. Buyee often has coupons for new users, like discounts on international shipping or even free service fees. That means more budget for you to collect the cards that you like. I personally use Buyee for a long time to pick up vintage Japanese cards, newly released sets like Terrestrial Festival or The Glory of Team Rocket, and even promo cards make it overseas here, like Mario Pikachu, Japan Post promo cards, Unogaba promos. Everything arrived safe, legit, and super fast. So if you're hunting grails from across the globe and just want to level up your collection with cards that your local card shop won't really have, then go check out Buyee today. Hit the link in the description, sign up, and start exploring some real treasures that are available only in Japan. You get yourself a 10% coupon for signing up right away. So check them out, see if their service is worth it for you, and it's an awesome way to pick up Japanese exclusive Pokemon cards from an easy, reliable source. Let's start off with something that everyone is currently talking about, and we got ourselves Evolving Skies. Now, a lot of people might think Evolving Skies is an easy S tier, which is, hey man, hold on to Evolving Skies and you're going to retire at 30, bro. But I disagree. And, you know, you can disagree with me, but I disagree. I don't think it's S tier. I think Evolving Skies is a long-term hold, bro. And there's a reason for that. Context is important. If Evolving Skies was $4 or $5 a booster pack, I would say Evolving Skies is an S tier, retire at 30, bro. But Evolving Skies is no longer $5 a booster pack. You're going to struggle to find booster packs of Evolving Skies going for under $30 for a single booster pack. And Evolving Skies booster boxes are going for $2 grand plus. And with those prices, it's no longer an S tier right now. So if you're asking me, should you invest in Evolving Skies, as in you do not have any Evolving Skies in your collection, then I would say no, it's currently not an S tier. It's a long-term hold, bro, which is, if you have it inside of your collection, fantastic. Hold on to Evolving Skies and it will be a treasure chest in 5, 10, 20 years. But if you don't have Evolving Skies inside of your collection, it's significantly more risky. If you're picking up a booster box for $2 grand and you're hoping that it'll go for 4 or 5 grand, then that's not nearly as of a desirable investment as something that is a little bit more easy to climb. All right, next one up, we got another one that I think gets talked about a lot right now, which is Destined Rivals. And Destined Rivals, again, I'm going to sound really bearish on this, but I'm going to put Destined Rivals in the trust me bro tier. And the reason it's in the Trust Me Bro tier is because it's a brand new Pokemon card set. We have no idea how much of it's going to be printed for the next 2 or 3 years. And it's in a very dangerous spot where the Pokemon company has alarm bells that are telling them print everything as much as possible. So Destined Rivals could literally be printed into the ground for a very long time. If you're investing in Destined Rivals booster boxes right now at $250, $300 a booster box, then you're putting a lot of trust in this set that it's going to be a great long-term investment. And for that reason, I'm putting it in the Trust Me Bro tier. All right, let's keep this going. We just did Evolving Skies, so I want to do another big one, and that is the Umbreon V Max. And this is going to be a very, very interesting choice as well, but I'm going to put the Umbreon V Max in the this is the next Zard Bro tier. And that is exactly what it is. The Umbreon V Max is literally the next Charizard. So that's very, very clear. It's very, very obvious that the Umbreon V Max is the next Charizard. There's pros and cons with that. Super iconic card, super high demand. It could skyrocket. It could absolutely skyrocket. There's risk and reward with that. If you want to take that risk, it could be a fun roller coaster to go down. And for that reason, it is in the this is the next Zard Bro tier. All right, another fun one. We're going to keep on going with the hot ones. And we got ourselves the Great Felt Hat Pikachu. And again, this is one that I'm going to be really, really controversial about. But the Great Felt Hat Pikachu, I'm actually going to put inside of this is a long-term hold bro tier. And this is something that was actually brought up to me just a couple weeks ago. Someone said, hey man, Jake, you said that the Great Felt Hat Pikachu was going to go down in price. You said to trust your expertise that it's going to go down in price, and look at it now. It's super expensive. And again, to that person who said that to me, I like to make the statement, context is important. When I said, hey, I think the Great Felt Hat Pikachu is going to go down, you got to understand, I said that literally on the day that the card came out. On the day the card came out, I said, this card's going to go down in price. I'm not saying it's going to go down in price in the next 5, 10, 20 years. I'm predicting the next 2 to 3 months. I'm saying, oh, this is a brand new promo card. People are just starting to get their hands on it. It's going to go down in price. And it did. I'm not here to be right or wrong, but I will say I at least said, hey, I think it's going to go down, and it did go down. No one can predict this card's future price, but I will say if you have this card, it's an obvious long-term hold bro kind of card. But if you don't have it inside of your collection, it's very risky. Are you really going to pay $1,000 for a promo card that there are 36,000 copies of? It's a cool card to have inside of your collection because it's so iconic that you want to have one copy of, but it is not an investor tier where you stack Great Felt Hat Pikachu. If you're someone that's stacking Great Felt Hat Pikachu, I think you're absolutely playing with fire on that one. All right, let's keep this going. We got another fun one to do. We just did a Pikachu one, so let's do one more Pikachu one. And we got ourselves the Mario Pikachu. And I'm a huge fan of the Mario Pikachu. Most people know that I'm a huge fan of the Mario Pikachu. But I'm going to actually put it into the Trust Me Bro tier. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The reason I'm putting it inside of the Trust Me Bro tier is you got to understand context. The Mario Pikachu right now in a PSA 10 is $12,000. At $12,000, that's where I'm putting it in the Trust Me Bro tier. Is I would not put 12 grand on this card. If you have 12 grand sitting around, and if you have way more money than that, then yes, fine, be my guest, pick up a Mario Pikachu. But unless you have 12 grand sitting around doing absolutely nothing, there are way better Pokemon card investments than the Mario Pikachu at 12 grand for a PSA 10. This card raw is a $5,000 card, and I just can't imagine picking up this card for $5,000. There are people out there, experts out there, that could do good things with this card. If you're a strong investor, you could pick up this card from a vendor for 4 grand and immediately flip it to another vendor for 5 grand. That scenario can absolutely occur at a trading card convention. But unless that's you, unless you're an absolute expert and know exactly what you're doing, this card is hard on the Trust Me Bro tier. And it's truly on that tier because you have to be super confident in this card to make that happen. All right, We got another fun one. We just did Evolving Skies. The next one up has to be Fusion Strike. And for the exact same reason as Evolving Skies, I'm going to put Fusion Strike in the long-term hold bro tier. Which means if you have Fusion Strike inside of your collection, keep holding on to it. It's going to be fantastic long-term. But if you don't have any Fusion Strike inside of your collection, I would not recommend picking up a Fusion Strike booster box right now for $850, $900 a booster box. I think that there's better options that you could do with your $900. All right. What's another fun one that we could do? Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions. This one, again, is going to be a very controversial take, but I'm going to actually put Prismatic Evolution in the retire at 30 bro tier. My goodness. And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. Prismatic Evolutions is a fantastic set in terms of the art. It's a terrible pull rate. We all know Prismatic Evolution's pull rate is terrible, but that doesn't matter. There's a bunch of highly desirable cards inside of Prismatic Evolutions. If you're talking about from an investing perspective, right now, if you can find any Prismatic Evolutions at retail price, and that's really important. I'm not saying pick up the super premium collection for $250. I'm saying pick up Prismatic Evolutions at retail price. If you can find any Prismatic Evolutions at retail price, and Prismatic Evolutions will be available at retail price for the next 2 years. Someone out there is restocking Prismatic Evolutions right now as we speak. I'm not saying it's going to be at your local Target. I'm not going to say it's going to be available at your Walmart. But for the next 2 years, there will be moments of times when Prismatic Evolutions will be available at retail price or below retail price. If you can find these Prismatic Evolutions bundles that are appearing at Costco down the line, these are going to be the best pickups to retire at 30 bro tier. I absolutely mean that. I'm trying to be as analytical and serious as possible about this, even though obviously investor bros are very, very funny. All right, what's another fun one that we can do? While we're talking about modern, let's talk about 151. This includes both English 151 and Japanese 151. And believe it or not, I'm also very bullish on 151. 151, I'm again going to put this in the retire at 30 bro tier. If you can pick up Japanese 151 or English 151 at an incredibly affordable price, I'm talking about retail, cheap, affordable prices, then this is going to be an amazing hold long term. I think 151 has so much growth potential as an actual investment. Fantastic. This is one of those sets where Japanese 151 booster boxes, I could see reaching $1,000 a booster box in 5 years because of how incredibly desirable this set is. It's the first set with Master Ball. This is pretty much just modern base set. 151 is just modern base set, and it is that good of a set, which is why I highly think it is an S tier set right now if you can get in while it's still cheap and affordable. If you can pick up any 151 right now at a super cheap or affordable price, MSRP, or as close to as MSRP as possible, it is literally, I think, a retire at 30 bro tier. All right, let's do one that is just kind of out there. What's one that's kind of out there? We got ourselves waifu cards. Waifu cards. Where do I think waifu cards go? This one might also surprise a lot of you, but I'm going to actually put waifu cards in the this is the next Zard tier. And here's the crazy thing. I don't really collect waifu cards. I used to collect a lot of full art trainer cards, and I still have some full art trainer cards inside of my collection. I like the full art trainer cards where there's a bunch of different trainers in the art. The friends in different region cards are an example. Those cards are really cool and fantastic. I think waifu cards actually have a ton of growth potential. The one thing that you can never underestimate the power of is the power of cute anime girls, and I absolutely think waifus, believe it or not, have a lot of potential, both for male and female collectors. Obviously, a lot of guys collect waifu cards, but believe it or not, a lot of girls collect full art trainer cards too, and a big part of that is because girls just like to see cute girls, pretty much. They just like to collect cute cards, and a lot of full art trainer cards are very cute. So a lot of girls actually collect full art trainer cards, and I do think that this is just one of those genre that is super underbaked right now. It's just a brand new genre, and when something's a brand new genre, it has a lot of potential down the line, right? This is one of those like uncharted category where four trainer cards have only been really desirable over the last 5 years. So they're very new and they have a lot of growth. So that's why I say this is in the next Zard Bro tier. All right, while we're on that subject, we might as well do another one, which is trainer galleries. And I think for the exact same reason, trainer gallery cards is in the this is the next Zard Bro. The trainer galleries aren't that numerous. They're only available for a couple of different sets, from Brilliant Stars to Silver Tempest. We got Lost Origin and Astral Radiance as well. But the trainer gallery cards are kind of like the old Tag Team GX cards, where they are incredibly popular, and it just takes some time for people to really appreciate them. I think for a bunch of trainer gallery cards, the art is super iconic, and I think in 4 or 5 years, they're going to have the same level of appreciation that the Tag Team GX cards have nowadays, where even the worst Tag Team GX cards are incredibly desirable. Even a regular ultra rare Tag Team GX card can go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, when it used to be a $1 or $2 cards that people would readily put inside of their trainer decks or their decks to battle with. They were very affordable. I used to give away Tag Team GX cards all the time for my holiday giveaway. And I think trainer gallery cards are in kind of that same boat. Believe it or not, I actually gave away a ton of trainer gallery cards as well over the last two years. And the reason I gave them away is because a lot of trainer gallery cards were very cheap. There was a bunch of trainer gallery cards that were just $1, $2, $3. But I do think as time goes on, these are going to have the same level of appreciation as the Tag Team GX cards. All right, moving on. Let's do one that's actually bags getting heavy, bro tier. All right, this one I don't think it's going to surprise a bunch of people, and break cards are a bags getting heavy, bro tier. I don't think these cards are ever going to be super desirable, and there's a bunch of different reasons for that. They're all drawn by a very generic company, which is like CG Works or 5G Graphics or something of that nature. It's just a large company that the Pokemon Company outsourced all of their 3D arts to, and I can't imagine these break cards ever being desirable. They look bad, and they have not aged well. The more alt art cards and cool cards that we get, the worse these look. Illustration rares look so much better compared to the old break cards. I think the break cards are an easy bags getting heavy, bro tier. If you're holding a lot of break cards, I think you're going to be holding them for a very long time. They're actually starting to climb in value, and that's mainly just because any Pokemon card is climbing in value, so that's not really special, but I think just collecting anything else is still better than collecting breaks card. And if you're someone that loves collecting break cards, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. All right, next one up, we got ourselves the Poncho Pikachu. And I'm not a huge fan of the Poncho Pikachu. I like Mario Pikachu more than Poncho Pikachu, but I would still put the Poncho Pikachus in the Trust Me Bro tier. And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. Like I said, context of where they're currently at right now is very important. Poncho Pikachus are insanely expensive, and it's a pure speculative market. This is not a retire at 30. If these were $5, $10, $20 cards, and I would say, yeah, I'm going to move this to retire at 30 tier. But because these cards are currently going for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 for one of these cards, they're in the Trust Me Bro tier. You have to put a lot of trust inside of the Poncho Pikachus for them to really be desirable. It's a $12,000 card. Is it really going to be a $25,000 card? I just don't see that happening, right? If you put $12,000 into something like Paldea Evolve, I think Paldea Evolve is much more likely to double in value than Poncho Pikachu is to double in value, right? If Poncho Pikachu is 12 grand, I think it's going to be a very long climb for it to get to $25,000. Paldea Evolve, I think, has a very short climb to getting to $600, believe it or not. All right, let's do something vintage. Let's talk about some of the vintage stuff. We got ourselves base set Charizard. Base set Charizard as well as pretty much the whole entire base set. And for base set Charizard, I'm going to actually put it in, again, this is going to surprise some of you. I almost don't want to say this, but I'm going to put base set Charizard in the bags getting heavy bro tier. And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. This might sound crazy, but it's because base set Charizard is incredibly readily available and it's super blue chip. It hasn't really climbed at all over the past 5, 6, 7 years. In fact, if you have base set Charizard and you collect break cards, I actually think break cards are a better investment than base set Charizard. Remember, this is an investor tier list. If you're collecting base set Charizard or anything from the unlimited base set or stuff like that, then that's fine. You're collecting them because you want to collect them. They're not going to skyrocket in value. These sets are super safe, super stagnant, and they're not really exciting to collect, especially for modern collectors. So you got to understand the context of this is an investment tier list. And as an investment, base set Charizard or the original base set is incredibly stagnant. It is a heavy bag holder. It's heavy bags for anyone that's investing in these. I would say break cards are a better investment because they actually have higher growth potential than the old original base set. Then we're talking about vintage. You might think I might put Skyridge in the exact same tier, but I'm actually going to put Skyridge in the long-term hold bro tier. And the reason for that is I get asked about Skyridge quite often, but Skyridge is like vintage, but cool. Skyridge is cool, and that's the big difference, is that no one ever talks about base set. It's cool to be using base set as a placeholder or a timestamp and saying like, oh, you remember base set? Oh, you remember that card? Oh, Charizard used to look like that or something of that nature. But no one is excited when they're talking about base set as if it's coming out today. You know what I mean? But Skyridge, people are still talking about how exciting and cool the E series are. So that's why Skyridge is actually long-term hold. If you have Skyridge, hold it long term. But if you do not have Skyridge, I absolutely do not recommend you start picking up a bunch of Skyridge booster packs or something like that as an investment, unless you're someone that's a collector. If you want to collect these cards, it's because you're passionate about these cards and you want to have Skyridge inside of your collection. Don't pick up Skyridge because it's not that good of an investment. Remember, guys, context is important. This is an investment tier list. All right, moving along, I know you guys have been looking at some of the stuff on this tier list. So let's talk about one that a lot of people want me to talk about, and that is the Bubble Mew. Oh boy, this one is very, very interesting. And I am actually going to put the Bubble Mew in this is the next Zard Bro tier. Oh my goodness, Bubble Mew. I do not own a Bubble Mew. I do not own a single Bubble Mew. I don't own any in a PSA 10, but the reason I'm putting this is in the next Zard Bro tier is because it's very iconic. The Bubble Mew is as iconic, or at least getting close to being as iconic as the Moonbreon. It's that iconic, and there's a bunch of different reasons, you know. Umbreon, to the moon, a lot of investor bros love the Umbreon VMAX. Same with the Bubble Mew. The Bubble Mew, because it's in a bubble, people like to really collect a lot of these cards, and Paldean Fates isn't that readily available. There aren't that many Paldean Fates booster packs out there, so I absolutely see the Bubble Mew heading in the exact same direction as the Umbreon VMAX, almost at the exact same pace, if not even faster than the Umbreon VMAX. All right, we got a bunch of really fun stuff. We got ourselves the Japan Post promos. Believe it or not, again, I think every one of my guesses is going to be shocking to you guys, but I'm going to put the Japan Post promos at S tier, retire at 30 bro tier. These cards are so hot and they're so cool, especially the Pikachu, of course. But these cards are so hot and so cool, they're like mini Mario Pikachus. If you have been able to collect these early enough, you might actually be able to retire at 30. If you collected 100 Pikachus of these Japan Post promo cards at 20, by the time that you're 30, you might actually be close to enough money for retirement. They're not that old and they have a lot of growth potential. I'm putting them in S tier. These might be A tier, actually, because once you reach $1,000 for a Japan Post promo, is it that really that desirable anymore? It might be A tier, but for now, because of how much I like them, I'm gonna actually still keep them in S tier because I still see a ton of growth potential for these cards. Next up, we got ourselves the Scream promo cards. We got ourselves the Scream Psyduck representing the gang, but we also have Scream Eevee, Rowlet, Mimikyu, and Pikachu. And I'm also going to put these in S tier. Again, I'm very biased because I love these cards, but I do think these cards are still very, very cheap, very affordable. If you want to pick up a raw copy of the Psyduck, the Rowlet, the Eevee, a lot of these cards are still pretty darn cheap. I think they're going for like $100 to $150. You might even be able to find some for cheaper than that. And if you can get a set of these, even if they're raw and frame it up, I think these are some of the best cards right now to collect. They're amazing cards. Iconic artwork from representing the Scream art piece. So again, very similar to Great Felt Hat Pikachu, but these are significantly more short printed than Great Felt Hat Pikachus. There's way less of these out there. And I think these cards, like the Great Felt Hat Pikachu and a Scream Eevee or a Scream Rowlet, is pretty much going for the same price. The fact that the Great Felt Hat Pikachu Raw is going for the same price as a Scream Eevee or a Scream Rowlet shows you how underrated these are. And for that reason, I'm going to put them in the retire at 30 bro tier, because if you can pick up enough of them, you might actually be able to retire at 30. All right. Next one up, we got ourselves... Let's do something that's outside of the realm of TCG. I have a couple of products that people ask me about, even though they're not trading card related. And we got ourselves the Bear Walker skateboards. The Bear Walker skateboards, I'm going to put inside of the Trust Me Bro tier. And there's a reason for that. It's because they constantly make more of these Bear Walker skateboards. These are constantly being released on the Pokemon Center. If you have no idea what these are custom skateboards that Bear Walker, who is a skateboard maker over here in North America, will collaborate with the Pokemon Company. He's done multiple collabs. He's done 6, 7, 8 collabs with the Pokemon Company. And I've met Bear Walker. He's a super cool guy. But because they're constantly making more of these skateboards, and there's so many of them out there, and skateboards are not easy to collect. I think we have a couple inside of our podcast studios, actually, that my buddy Rob has inside of his collection. I used to collect these, but they took up so much room, and they were so difficult to display or take care of or collect that it wasn't really manageable for me. And because they constantly make more and more and more of these, I think at a certain point people are going to get tired of these, and for that reason I'm going to put the skateboards at the Trust Me Bro tier. And then we got ourselves the video games. The video games I'm also going to put in the Trust Me Bro tier, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. Reason number one is because you can still play a lot of these games without ever collecting the Game Boy games. Pretty much if you want a ROM of any of the old games, you can easily get it. People use ROMs of Pokemon games all the time to do Nuzlocke, to do all kinds of custom challenges, and it is incredibly fun. But I think the vintage video game market is in an incredible bubble right now. It's super risky. I have sealed Game Boy games inside of my collection. I think they're really, really cool, but this is absolutely a Trust Me Bro tier. It's super risky, super volatile, and you have to put a lot of trust into these because it's really only iconic for a very small group of people. I think there is a group of people that really, really care about having sealed Game Boy games or old vintage games, but it is a niche market. I don't think it's that special. So if you have this, it's purely for the memories. It's purely for collectors. It's not an investment collectible. Remember, this is not a collectible tier list. This is an investment tier list. And for that reason, Game Boy games go inside of the C tier. All right, let's do XY Evolutions. XY Evolutions is easily a long-term hold bro tier. Same reason as for all these other sets. It's basically incredibly hot, incredibly desirable, but XY Evolutions no one ever talks about right now. If you have it inside of your collection, just hold on to it long term, but it's been long away from S tier. If this was 4 years ago, I might put XY Evolutions in S tier, but as of right now, it is absolutely a long-term hold bro tier. All right, let's keep this going. We're gonna go faster now, since, I don't know, this video has been like 30 minutes. And I thought this would go by quicker, but maybe you guys like a 30-minute deep analysis on these. For Team Up, I am going to put in, this is the next Zardbro tier. It's the only set in the this is the next Zardbro tier. And the reason that I value Team Up so well is because of how incredibly iconic, desirable it is, and short printed. The third point is really, really important. Team Up has always been a great investment bro set, and the reason for that is because it's incredibly hot, incredibly desirable, but it's also incredibly short printed. That's really important. Team Up is so hard to find. Evolving Skies, I can still find inside of all kinds of different ultra premium collections inside of my collection. If I want more Evolving Skies packs, I can readily see Evolving Skies pack inside of a bunch of different premium collections or random collection boxes that I still have, but Team Up is not the same. Team Up is so incredibly hard to find inside of any product. I don't think I have a single loose booster pack of Team Up inside of any collection boxes that I have from this era. I might have a couple inside of random tins, but I can't even see them. So I'd have to open up the tins just to see if I have Team Up actually inside of them. I might not. And then we got another one. We got ourselves, and this one's really funny. Believe it or not, people actually do ask me, do I think that the Illustrator Pikachu is Investorbro or not? And I would actually say the Illustrator Pikachu is a bags getting heavy bro tier. Wow. Is that controversial or not? The basics of it is that this card has actually declined in price quite a bit over the past couple of years from the day when Logan Paul picked up his copy. But that's mainly because it was so incredibly expensive to begin with. There's only a very, very small group of people that care about these cards. And the ones out there that are willing to spend $1 million for this card is very, very small. And this card's price has actually gone down a little bit. It's still really cool. It's still really iconic, but it's not the most rare Pokemon card out there. And if you want to flex on people, there are cooler cards. If you really want to invest in something and you have, let's say, 700K, there are better items, right? If you invested 700K into Fusion Strike 4 months ago, you would be looking at $1.5 million right now, because Fusion Strike's doubled in value in the past 4 or 6 months. If you invested 700K into an Illustrator Rare Pikachu, I can't say that same scenario would have occurred. So it's in the bags getting heavy bro tier because this is super risky. You're holding heavy bags, and I don't think you're going to get much of a return investing in an Illustrator Rare Pikachu. All right. Next one up, we got ourselves the Magikarp. Where will the Magikarp go? Illustration Rare Magikarp, I get asked about this card quite often. I'm going to put it in the this is the next Zardbro tier. Same exact reason as all these other cards. Super iconic, incredibly popular. Paldea Evolved is kind of out of stock right now. It's $300 a booster box. You're never going to rip open a booster box to find one of these. It's so incredibly hard to find a Magikarp in a booster box, and to find one in a PSA 10 is even rarer. It's probably about as rare, if not more rare, than a Bubble Mew or an Umbreon VMAX. If you pull an Umbreon VMAX or a Bubble Mew, you might actually be able to get a PSA 10. If you pull a Magikarp, which is incredibly hard from Paldea Evolved, I don't think you're going to get yourself a PSA 10. So that's why, in fact, this might be S tier, but that might be a little bit too controversial. I'm going to put it in A tier for now. All right, final one up, and I do get asked about this often, is Celebrations. I think you guys can already sort of see where I'm going with this. Celebrations, I'm actually going to put in the Trust Me Bro tier. Is that right? The only reason it would go up is because the 30th anniversary is around the corner. And it might go up because of the 30th anniversary, but that's pure speculation. So maybe that's the reason why it's in Trust Me Bro tier. You got to put a lot of trust inside of Celebrations for it to go up in value. It is not a bad set. It is iconic, but it is super small. There aren't a ton of cards inside of Celebration, and the only people that I would say want to collect Celebrations were the people that were around when Celebrations came out. I don't think brand new collectors care about Celebration. If you started collecting 4 months ago, I don't think you care about this set at all. If you collect Pokemon cards 4 years ago, you care about this set a little bit. And for that reason, it's going to go in the Trust Me Bro tier. Whew, oh boy, this was a long video. This took way longer than I expected. I think there's a lot more that we can put on this list. But as of right now, these are the most common sets, cards, and products that I get questions about on, hey, how good of it is as an investment, pretty much. And this is an investment tier list. So as of right now, I think this is pretty solid. All of these cards are super cool, super popular, and highly desirable for all of these sets. I don't think any of these are bad collectible wise. If you can collect any of these, I think they're fine. But as far as an investment goes, some of these I think are better than others. So this is pretty much what I can say. Some of this is clearly biased. Like the Scream promos in S tier, because I'm biased. I think these cards are super cool, and I think they're underrated because they're literally cheaper, or yeah, in a lot of cases actually cheaper than a Great Felt Hat Pikachu, and I would say they're more rare than a Great Felt Hat Pikachu. So that's why I think they're in S tiers, that if you can buy any of these for cheap prices, they're only going to do gangbusters for you long term. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm sure you have your thoughts on where some of the stuff goes on this list. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if there's anything else that you want me to put on this tier list, let me know, and maybe we'll do another one in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.